Hey kids, it's Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. Once again, out and about on another bike review. Lucky enough that the guys at Herts Triumph have let me out on yet another bike, so thanks very much indeed to Adrian and to Toby and the guys at Herts Triumph in Hemel Hempstead. Go down and see them if you're in the market for a bike, very helpful chaps. Now this time I'm on the Triumph Tiger 800. And again, another bike that I've been curious to ride because it's got the same engine, the same triple engine as my Street Triple R, although of course it's been bored and stroked to a bigger capacity. So this of course is 800cc instead of the 675 of the Street Triple. But it's got the same noise, the same urgency about it, which I love. Slightly detuned. I think the Street Triple comes in something like 105 bhp, whereas this I think is 95, but this has the corresponding increase in torque, which makes it a really nice road bike, I think. And I think this possibly could be the best all-round bike you could buy at the moment. And it's only based on reviews I've read, not on much riding experience. I've literally only been riding it for 5 or 10 minutes. But so this is going to be my first impressions review of the Tiger 800. Stick around, stay tuned. Let's hope that my preconceived ideas turn out to be correct. So the first thing that strikes me about the Tiger 800 when I jump on is the riding position. I feel sort of canted forward a bit more than I expected to be. It's not unpleasant, it's still a comfortable riding position, so a little bit more length forward than I thought. This is the XRT version of the bike, which is the more on-road focused. I mean, all the bikes are basically similar, but there's all sorts of variants, the XRT, XRX, HRT, goodness knows what, CRT, etc. Depending on whether you want a more on-road or off-road focused bike and how many of the extra bells and whistles you want. So this is the on-road focused bike, which is probably what I would go for because it doesn't have spoked wheels, and I would find spoked wheels a real pain to clean, and it wouldn't do my clean bike OCD any good. So that's what this bike is, although I'd probably have the beak from the off-road bike fitted onto it because I just think it looks a bit better with a beak. But anyway, that's just my personal preferences. As I say, first things you notice about it, number one, the slightly canted forward riding position compared to other adventure bike type bikes that I've ridden. And the other thing that immediately strikes me, literally, is the wind blast. Although it's got this screen, which doesn't look to be adjustable, or if it is, it's manual, it's not doing a great job of keeping wind off me. I immediately noticed, even at these relatively slow speeds, even slower, there we go, that I can feel it blasting on my head quite a lot. It's not turbulent breeze, so it's not unpleasant, so that's fine. Let's just make sure I'm not breaking any speed limits. So not a big issue. It's certainly no worse than a naked bike, so which I'm more than used to, so that wouldn't be a deal breaker as far as I'm concerned. The other thing I noticed about it is it feels quite a wide bike. My legs feel like they're wider than I would have expected for what is kind of a mid-sized machine. And the other thing is just the size of the bike. It feels quite a large bike. I don't know what the measurements are if you measure the length and height, but it feels in geometric terms much the same as my big GS. Whereas I sort of expected it would feel like a smaller version of that, but no, it feels every bit as substantial as the GS. Now these triple engines, as I've said before, I absolutely love. Triumph actually has the triple engine nailed, of course. Really smooth, no vibrations, and I think it sounds lovely. I just love that little whistle that the Triumph triples have. And it does sound exactly like a Street Triple on stock exhausts, which is not a bad thing, I can tell you. Right, let's see how she goes then. Yeah, she is pretty lively. Doesn't feel quite as lively as the Street Triple, which is, I suppose, a little bit surprising, given it's got 100cc more. But of course, it is a much bigger bike, so that counteracts that. But yeah, lovely and lively, and it's one of those bikes that I think you could just throw around corners, no problem at all, and have a lot of fun on it. To my mind, this is the ideal sort of compromise bike. If you can only have one bike, maybe go for something like this, because you could ride on it all day long and you could have fun. Oh, hello, CRF rider, good man. You could ride on it all day long, tour continents and so on, and I don't think have any fatigue, but at the same time you can have some sort of sporty back lane scratching fun on it as well. which is quite a difficult combination to get right, but I think from this experience, Triumph have got it right on this one. Hope you can see me okay. There's a little bit of rain in the air. There's nothing more annoying than trying to watch a video and there's a load of rain on the lens, so I apologise. Let's give you a clean. There we go, I hope that works. Handling wise, it feels very stable in the corners, which is nice. Doesn't have any tendency to tip in or anything like that. It's just sort of, once you set it up, it sort of tracks around the corners nicely, which again would make for sort of fatigue-free cruising, I think. Let's find somewhere to stop and show you the bike externals. The bike is laden with electronics. It's got 3 riding modes, basically sort of a road, a wet, and then there's a customisable rider version, which is good. It's got cruise control, which is really handy on a touring type bike, or a bike you might do that. It's got heated grips on this one, and it's got a heated seat. Absolutely marvellous invention for winter riding, and absolutely bags of information on the dash as well, which you can cycle through using the buttons on the handlebars, including things like tyre pressure monitoring. Right, let's stop here and have a look at the bike. Oh no, there's a man here who'll think I'm nuts. I won't do it there. Oh, how annoying. Nice light clutch, great gearbox. Ride-by-wire throttle, of course, which is what allows you to have the engine modes and so on. Let's stop over here. Let's do a bit of off-roading on the non-off-road bike. There we go. Oh, it's starting to properly rain now. Let's do this quickly then. Okay, so here she is. This is the Triumph Tiger 800 XRT. As I say, this is kind of the top spec on-road model. I look up all the models on the website. I mean, there are so many variants of this bike that you can get, but with this one you get all the electronics package, things like the heated seats, and you get the extra spotlights and so on. The thing you don't get are spoked wheels, as I mentioned, which are a nightmare to clean, so that's what would make this the bike for me. But unfortunately you don't get the little beak, which I think makes the bike look nicer, but that is available as a Triumph accessory, so you can always add that, so that's definitely not a deal breaker. I think she looks really cute. Like so many of these adventure bikes, you've got this sort of scaffolding arrangement on the back to attach panniers to, and I know that's kind of a practical thing, but it's something that I dislike about so many adventure bikes, but it's not unusual, or the Triumph is not unusual having that, because as I say, many of these sorts of bikes have exactly that, including the things like the BMW GS Adventure. So just to give you some numbers then on the bike, it's 203 kilograms dry as standard, so not particularly lightweight, but neither is it heavy. As I mentioned, it's 95 brake horsepower and it's 79 newton meters of torque. And it's one of those bikes that you don't feel like you need more power. It's definitely not lacking in that department. It really is lovely to ride. Okay, enough talk then, let's get back on and ride us some more. And the other thing I guess to mention is the price of these. Because they come in so many different flavours, the price varies quite a lot. I think the base one you get is about £8,500, and it goes up to about £11,500 for the top spec models, so quite competitively priced, I think. Okay, like all Triumphs, it's a clutch in job to start her up. Excellent. Trying to avoid going through this whacking great puddle as I disappear. Okay, to summarise then, for the Tiger 800, beautiful, beautiful triple engine. I'm a huge fan of that engine, and it's just lovely on this bike. Handling is really nice and stable. The bike feels... Actually, I haven't talked about the brakes. Let's just try them. Actually, the brakes aren't that brilliant. That might just be this bike, perhaps, that it's been used a bit. They're adequate. Let's try the back. The back's pretty good. Okay, so the brakes are okay. The clutch feels nice and light. You've got the riding modes, which are great, thanks to the ride-by-wire throttle. Seat, pretty comfy. Quite a wide-legged position, which feels okay. But I think the seat might, over time, might do with a bit of padding. Handlebars not too wide, but you know, wide enough that you can get leverage. You are canted forward a little bit, which makes for a relatively sporty riding position for a bike of this type. But it's certainly not uncomfortable. Mirrors work a treat. Did it match my expectations at the start of this ride of being the ideal all-rounder? Well, you know, I think it probably has. If particularly, I think if I was maybe a fairly new rider and I wanted to get into the sort of adventure bike scene and I didn't want to go straight onto one of the big 1200cc monsters, then this would be a fantastic step up, because it's got this lovely engine, but it's not so aggressive that you're going to frighten yourself. It's a lovely, easy bike to ride. And because of just the sheer number of variants of the bike available, you can make it very much your own and spec it up for the sort of machine that you want. I just love the idea of heated seats, so if you're going to get one, get the heated seats. That is brilliant. Okay, I hope that's been of some interest to you, and I look forward to speaking to you next time. Until then, this has been Nice and Fly. Cheerio. Wow, it's always really weird when you first get on a bike you've never ridden before. This is no exception. But this, I think, is weird in a good way.